Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Texas rapper Lil Ronnie, along with his 5-year-old daughter Armani, was gunned down in cold blood in broad daylight by a couple of uncivilized mutts near the Fort Worth area. The uncivilized mutts are on the run, but don't trip. They will be caught. They will be brought to justice. That is a promise. Now, we know how these murders affect the family, but we don't talk about enough how it affects kids, the schoolmates, the friends. Armani's little friend, I don't know her name, went viral with her and her daddy about a month ago, when her dad, Lil Ronnie, showed up for Dad and Donuts Day with his daughter. Her little friend, who is white, Daddy was not there. So Lil Ronnie stepped in and told her, hey, you can hang out with us. Now, the video went viral, I do believe, because of the moment. Didn't matter if the kid was white or black, but because it was a white girl, it caught more eyeballs. The video was watched by millions of people, and I do believe that is because race relations are so strained in America, especially now. The little girl is on video innocently expressing her disappointment that her friend didn't come to school, not knowing that Armani is never coming back to school because Armani was murdered in cold blood by a couple of uncivilized mutts. This also speaks to a bigger issue that we have in this country with race. It lets you know, it reminds you that racism is taught, because that little girl is not concerned about what color her friend is. She's concerned about her friend. It lets you know that racism is taught. And I'm also looking at the fact that this is going to be a hard conversation for her parents. Hopefully they tell her first and she don't find out from another student or somebody, just overhear somebody talking. That little girl is going to need counseling. Growing up, I can remember having a school counselor, but I have no recollection of a mental health professional helping me or any of my classmates and schoolmates navigate through trauma. I have no recollection of a grief counselor talking about what's going on at home or a friend who was killed, whether it be a drowning or by gunfire. I don't have any recollection of that, and this kid is going to need some help. All of these kids are gonna need help. I mean, like, the way these kids are dying today, they all gotta have help. This is not just that little girl, but they gotta step their game up in these schools and get these kids some help, because a lot of these kids are resigned to thinking that they're not gonna live long. A lot of them are hopeless. I know this because even when I spoke to kids at schools back in the 90s, they felt hopeless. I asked one kid who was about 15, 16 years old straight up, where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years? And he said, dead. That is a direct knock on the adults in his life, the adults in our community. Man, we got to do better. It's cold-blooded, man, cold-blooded. That little girl not having any idea that her friend was dead reminded me of a similar incident where I went to my buddy's funeral. And his daughter, who was about 5 years old at the time, was sitting on the front row. And she kept looking at her daddy in the casket and talking about how he's sleeping. She was just smiling and having a good time. She was totally oblivious to what was going on. Damn, man, we got to do better by these kids. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.